My grandfather left me his $8,500,000 empire. The parents who cut me off at 18 showed up to the will, reading with my brother, grinning, signed the power of attorney. But when the lawyer read the secret clause, their smirks shattered. On my 18th birthday, my father handed me 2 black trash bags and 30 minutes to clear my room. My younger brother, Julian, stood at the top of the stairs, wearing a watch my grandfather had given my father, smiling. "You're dead weight, Leo," my mother told me, locking the deadbolt behind me. "Everything we have belongs to Julian. Don't call us." I didn't. For 7 years, I lived on cheap ramen, worked graveyard shifts in logistics, and paid my way through school. The only family member who ever reached out was my grandfather, Arthur. My parents convinced the rest of the family that the old man had dementia, quietly moving him into an isolated estate and siphoning his accounts while blocking me from his phone. 2 weeks ago, Arthur died. 3 days later, I received a certified letter from Harrison and Sterling LLP. The estate was valued at $8.5 million, consisting of commercial holdings, investment portfolios, and the family logistics firm. When I walked into the downtown legal office yesterday, I wore a plain gray suit I bought off the rack. My parents and Julian were already seated around the mahogany conference table. Julian was draped in tailored Italian wool. My mother had a brand new diamond tennis bracelet catching the light. The moment I sat down, Julian chuckled under his breath. My father leaned across the table and slid a thick blue folder toward me. A heavy gold pen tapped against the paper. "Save everyone the embarrassment." "Leo," my father said, voice smooth and condescending, "sign the power of attorney. You don't know how to manage $500, let alone real assets. Julian is handling the family portfolio now. Sign it," my mother whispered, her eyes sharp. "We might even give you a modest allowance if you don't make a scene." I didn't touch the pen. I just looked at them. 7 years of cold, calculated abandonment, packaged into a smug demand. Then, Arthur's lifelong attorney, Richard Sterling, entered the room. He didn't smile. He placed a leather binder on the table, adjusted his glasses, and clicked on an audio recorder. "Let's begin," Sterling said flatly. He read the standard preamble before reaching the distribution of assets. "To my son David and his wife Eleanor, I leave the sum of $1 each." My mother choked on her breath. My father's jaw went slack. "To my grandson, Julian," Sterling continued, unwavering, "I leave the sum of $1, along with a copy of his college transcripts, so he may reflect on what unearned privilege looks like." Julian slammed his hands on the table. "This is a joke." The old man was senile. "We took care of him. The remainder of my estate," Sterling read, his voice cutting through the room like ice, "valued at approximately $8.5 million, including all controlling shares of Vance Logistics, is bequeathed entirely, solely, and unconditionally to my grandson, Leo Vance." The room went dead. The smug grin on Julian's face completely collapsed into pure, unvarnished panic. "We're contesting this!" my father shouted, rising from his chair, his face turning crimson. "He manipulated Arthur. We have lawyers. We have grounds for undue influence. I suggest you sit down, David," Sterling said softly. He pulled a thin red file from his briefcase. "Arthur anticipated your reaction. Which brings us to the final addendum." Sterling looked directly at my parents. "For the past 3 years, Arthur retained forensic accountants and a private investigator. This file documents the unauthorized transfer of $1.2 million from Arthur's medical trusts into Julian's private brokerage accounts." My mother's face drained of all color. "The will includes a zero-tolerance forfeiture and prosecution clause," Sterling explained calmly. "If any party contests this will, challenges Leo's ownership, or contacts him in any harassing manner, this evidence will be submitted directly to the state attorney's office for grand jury indictment on elder, financial abuse, and grand larceny." Sterling closed the file with a soft, decisive snap. "You can take your $1 and walk out," Sterling said, "or you can contest it and spend your retirement in federal prison." Silence fell over the room. My mother began to weep into her hands. Julian stared at the floor, trembling. My father looked at me, his eyes wide, pleading for the first time in his life. "Leo, son, we're your family," he stammered. I stood up, picked up my coat, and looked down at him. "You told me 7 years ago that I was dead weight," I said quietly. I took the estate documents from Sterling, signed my name across the designated line, and handed him the pen. "I don't know you people. Get out of my building."